Hi and welcome to a new episode of PV News from Krannich Solar. We actually wanted to get back to you with more news around intersolar time, early summer, but the situation out there in the world and in the PV market made us think twice and come up with an update earlier. So what we see at the moment is the freight charges from China are changing heavily. The whole supply chain is still not very stable. Delays in shipments or in raw material supply and in production are becoming a normal situation at the moment. The worst situation we still have in supply of components for inverters, so semiconductors or components for the network functions of the systems. So additionally to the existing struggle due to the pandemic and the situation of the last years, now we have the new situation on top, everything that happened in and around Ukraine during the last couple of weeks. So sanctions that have been placed against Russia or will still be placed in the future, for example on aluminium, where EU imports depend heavily on Russian aluminium, will have an impact on our pricing and our supply in the near future. On the other side, this whole new situation with rising energy costs, especially on the oil and gas side, lead to a totally new view on PV in general. Suddenly, renewables and especially PV sound like the escape plan for the world energy crisis. So industries and private people start focusing on PV, and additionally to the already high demand in the beginning of 2022 all over Europe, we now expect an even further increase of demand, because more and more people think about when and how to install a PV system instead of the if. And also in more and more markets, storage becomes a standard, especially in residential and increasingly for commercial appliances. So the question rises, what can we do to solve the issues combining an increasing demand and more struggles on the supply side? And this is what we want to inform you about in the next couple of minutes. First of all, we need your courage in 3 points. Courage in stocking, courage in flexibility, and courage in new ways of operation. So first of all, stocking. Whenever you can get your fingers on stuff that you need, try to get it. Very simple. Try to build small stock amounts. Try to have an own little warehouse where you can buffer critical components. Rails for mounting systems can easily be stored outside and don't consume a lot of space. Some inverters that you need on a regular base might find a corner somewhere in your warehouse where you can pick them on demand when it's really critical. So the second point, courage in flexibility. If you only order those components that you already sold, you will always be running behind the market, because some delivery times go up to several months or even quarters. So first order components that you will need and then sell them. So do it the other way around than before. And don't get too much dependent on which components to use. Stay flexible on your choice of products. Make sure with your end customer that you're allowed to bring and install a similar but alternative product to the one initially offered if the installation shall take place in a certain period of time. The third part then is courage on the operation side. So we deliver new products to you, and you should always accept partial deliveries. Very often, on short notice, we get informed by manufacturers and suppliers that suddenly a certain amount of deliveries will not take place and we do not receive the goods. Nobody can do anything against it. So whatever you have in your hand with the partial delivery, you can use on one of your installations. Make also sure that working with your customers, you're able to also install, in some cases, wherever possible, step by step. So you're also on the cash flow side, not depending on a 100% invoice at the end when the whole installation is done. Try to work in doable parts, like first mounting systems, then finalizing PV, the inverter, and the storage might be another part. So by working through this, you keep yourself flexible and adjust your operations to the new demand of the supply situation. And now, I'm sure you ask yourself what we can do for you as wholesaler. So what we are doing to support you is that first of all, we increased the amount of brands in our portfolio. We tried to offer you more alternatives and more availability already throughout the last month, and we are constantly looking for more solutions. For example, on the module side, we are now looking for more and more European production to have short delivery ways and times and local content to serve your customers' needs. We made very courageous forecasts and ordered huge quantities of many products which even today are still not top runners, but that we will both need to fulfill the market's needs in the near future. We see our role as wholesaler at the moment, especially on the side of securing availability for you and your customers. Prices play a minor role this year. Everyone is looking forward to secure the demand for the coming weeks and months. So we are doing everything that we can to fulfill your needs, and like always, we need your help in long-time forecasts and purchases so we can already know what you might need over the next weeks to come. In general, we believe that your courage will be rewarded. So stay courageous or become courageous right now. We at Krannich are very much looking forward to finally meeting you again in person on Intersolar this year in May on our booth in Munich. So all the best, much success until then. Looking forward to seeing you. Your Brunner.